Welcome to Hispanic Biz Success Stories. I'm Homero Galicia. We have the pleasure of talking with successful entrepreneurs who've built great businesses to learn their business story. It is an honor for us to share with you these entrepreneurial stories. Today we have the pleasure of having a wonderful guest with us, Mr. Jay Garcia of Clean Water of El Paso. Mr. Garcia, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
By all means.
It's an honor.
So, tell me, what is Clean Water of El Paso?
Well, Clean Water of El Paso, we're a company that deals with water filtration in El Paso and Las Cruces. What we do is we have filtration, whole home systems, businesses, offices, hotels. We soften the water. We do filtration, depending on the customer, what kind of filtration they want. Have great drinking water in your home or business, we can supply that.
How many years have you been in business now?
Wow, this in October will be our 29th year.
29 years.
Yes.
Wow. How big are you?
Well, currently we have 10 employees. We have had more, up to 20 employees, but I think that was a little too many for us. Not that we didn't have the work for them, but we have 10 really great employees that can handle the business.
So, building a business, is it taking you where you wanted to go when you were a young man?
You know what, it really has. Not to say it was easy, because it wasn't, but I'm very proud where we are right now.
Mr. Garcia, you're from El Paso.
I sure am, born and raised. And
what schools did you go to?
Well, I graduated from Eastwood High School in 1987. Go Troopers.
Okay. And so you grew up in the east side?
Yeah, I grew up on the east side. It was great to grow up there.
And what did you do after high school?
You know what? After high school, I did go to college for a while. Then I, got into the business world, worked for a few different companies, but I knew I always wanted to own my own company one day.
How'd you know that?
You know what? Growing up, my father was self-employed, and my uncle, my mom's brother, was also self-employed, and I always saw their work ethic and was always intrigued that they were their own bosses. And I just thought, I'd always want to do that. Right after high school, I didn't remember that, and I started working for other people. Didn't feel I was treated right, and I thought, you know what, maybe it's time to follow my own dreams and own my own company.
What did your father do?
So my father was a contractor and architect, and he built commercial buildings. A lot of the Pizza Huts, Village Inns,
really?
a bunch of the Pepsi companies also. He would build a lot of those apartment buildings.
What was the name of his business?
It was Russo Construction.
Russo.
Mm-hmm.
And your uncle, what kind of business did he have?
My uncle was in the electrical business, Tovar Electric.
Really?
Yes.
My brother knew Tovar Electric.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I'll have to ask you more about that. But and your mother, what's your mother like? What was she like?
My mother was great. She was, so my dad was self-employed, so he worked a lot. And, there were 7 of us. So the more I look back, the more I admire my mother. She raised 7 children pretty much on her own, and gave us a very good, not only work ethic. Matter of fact, she worked for community college, and she retired from there, but I think she taught us all well, a lot of good life lessons.
What did she do here at the community college?
You know what, she was, I don't know what the final thing was, but she worked in payroll. She was a payroll supervisor. So she most of the years I remember, she worked for community college.
So how many brothers and sisters?
There's 7 of us all together,
and
I'm right in the middle.
And what do they all do?
Well, they range from different things. I have a brother that's a finance manager. I have a brother that is still in the construction business. I have a sister that's a teacher. One of my sisters, Natalie, works with me. She's a great asset. My sister, Monica, works for USAA, and she works in claims.
So how many entrepreneurs came out of your family?
You know what? I'd say entrepreneurs, I'm probably the only one. I take that back. My brother Ricky's also an entrepreneur. So there's 2 of us.
He's the one in construction?
He's in construction, yes.
Okay. So, this idea of starting a business, why'd you get into water?
You know what? I wasn't self-employed at the time. I used to be in shape. I used to run a lot. I used to drink a lot of tap water. There wasn't bottled water there. One day I got into a lot of pain and went to the hospital, didn't know what was wrong with me. I ended up getting kidney stones and passing them. I don't wish that on my worst enemies. It's very painful.
Gee.
Didn't think much of it, thought, okay, it passed. After I got it a second time, they said, you need to go see a urologist. And the urologist I saw there, he's the one that told me, well, people, they create for different reasons. And he gave me this story. At the time, everybody had swamp coolers in El Paso. And he says, do you ever change the padding on there? Yeah, I do. From my mom's house, I've done it since I was a kid. What do they look like, he tells me. And I said, well, they're full of all kinds of white stuff, some salts and stuff like that. He goes, well, you're drinking that same water. Some of us build up kidney stones and for various reasons. And it just clicked on me. I'm like, wow, here I'm healthy. I run a lot, work out a lot, but I'm always drinking the tap water. And he suggested I look into maybe getting a water system in our homes. At the time, I did call a company. There was only maybe 2 in El Paso. I'm the type of person, if I'm going to do something, I like to do some research on them. It was a little harder back then. It wasn't the internet like it is today. Honestly, I wasn't that impressed with them, but I thought maybe I better do something. It was kind of weird. We didn't all have so many emails. I got a letter in the mail from a water company that sells water systems out of Illinois. And I just thought, wow, that's weird. I'm in the market looking for a system just a couple of weeks ago. I ended up taking their invitation. They flew me out to Chicago, wined and dined me for a while. Midnight, I was probably signing a contract I shouldn't have signed, to start doing water systems here in El Paso. I've since moved on from there, but that's how I got started, basically.
So it really came out of a need that you had.
Yeah, it came out to a need that I had.
But you saw that with other people having the same need?
I did. I saw that that we needed something more here in El Paso as far as water filtration. The companies that we're selling here would sell softeners, maybe dechlorinators and stuff like that. And I was thinking, well, what about all the other stuff that we have here in El Paso? Naturally, we have a lot of arsenic and other things in our water, and I just thought there's got to be something better.
When I was in graduate school, I lived near IBM in South San Jose, and they had chemicals that had gone into the ground, and they were talking about the water. So I went and started selling water distillers in 1980.
Yeah.
Because of that. So that's interesting. But you responded to that. But starting a business is different. I mean, you could have gone in just to sell machines, but you sell systems. But you wanted to do your own business.
I did, because I wanted to do it my way, and I just thought there's a better way. I had already worked for some companies, and I always thought, wow, and this is in most businesses, is you sell a product to somebody and you forget about them, and then you move on, and your next goal is to keep on selling. And there's got to be something a little different. I want, if I sell somebody a product, I want them to always come first, that I take care of their needs forever, depending on what the thing is. And then from there, you'll get more business. So my business plan, what I always thought is a little different, but in the long run, I think it's worked out for me.
Did you start with a business plan?
You know what? I did.
You did?
I did the business plan. Fortunately, some of the companies I did work with, I picked up different things from there, and I would made a map for success. Let's put it that way, a booklet where it would give you certain reminders, certain things to do, things like that. I always knew, I saw other people that would be in business, and let's say they sold something for $5. Once they got the $5, they would go spend it. I knew that I had to put a little bit of away that so that I could keep growing the business.
How'd you learn that?
You know what? I think part of it was learning from just growing up. My dad being an entrepreneur on one thing. I saw the things he did right and the things he did wrong. I probably didn't tell him that, but I would see it.
But you could see that.
I could see that, and so I would write things down. Some I would just write them in my mind and remember them, and I started jotting some of those things down.
So did you have characteristics that were different than other people your age that kind of let you to get into business and feel comfortable?
I'm not really sure, because I don't know what all their characteristics are, but I know from a young age, maybe jumping right out of high school, I already knew what my goals were, probably ahead of a lot of my friends.
You already knew you wanted to do something on your own?
I did, yeah.
But you discovered water, and that just fell into
You know, it's just so weird how it fell in me. I was in the market. A company called me. Once I signed the contract with them, I asked them, well, how did you find me? I was actually in the market, and they actually found me because they had hired a headhunter, and they wanted somebody in El Paso. And the company I worked before, I used to go to all the grocery stores and restaurants as a salesperson trying to sell the product. And, there was somebody there that saw me go in there all the time, and they're like, who knows how they get your information? They're headhunters, right?
What were you selling?
I worked for a company called Intermix, and we did like Best Buy tortillas, Mexican food products, things like that.
Yeah, Intermix, big company.
Yeah, Intermix was a big company.
Who was the owner?
Oh my gosh, you're putting me on the spot. I want to say Nelson.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Big company.
A big company, and they were doing very well. And I worked for them for a few years before I got in doing things on my own.
Yeah. So where are your parents from? Did they grow up in El Paso, or did they come to El Paso?
You know what? They were both from El Paso. My mother grew up in El Paso, went to Loreto and El Paso High. And so my dad also, he went to Jefferson.
Yeah.
Did
you speak Spanish at home or just English?
You know what? No, we spoke English. We spoke some Spanish. But mostly English. I think with me, I think my sisters that are older than me, they would speak mainly Spanish to them. And then when they went to school, they didn't know English as well. So my parents started speaking to me more English.
But at first they were speaking Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I grew up. But they wouldn't speak Spanish to me. They spoke English to me.
There
because they wanted me to speak good English.
Right. Same with us. Same with me.
Yeah. So as you start your business, you started by yourself.
I did.
How long was it before you had employees?
You know what? I was probably about 2 years. I was doing everything by myself. I'd have someone come help every once in a while, but mainly by myself. What
were you doing? Going door to door? Or how in the world did you find a market?
You know what? That's exactly right. I was going door to door, and it was very, very difficult. I knew I had this great product. I knew I could help people with having good water for the health of their home, their water heaters and everything, good for their own health. So you think, oh, wow, everybody's going to want this. But it was difficult. El Paso, at least with water filtration, wasn't up to par what I saw in other cities, like they're doing now. But so it was difficult.
So, how do you sell a product like that? It's not on the top of people's minds unless they have a great need for it.
Right.
So how in the world do you have to educate people about it?
You know what? That's the thing, is that if they did let me into their homes, that was the thing. It was an education moment for them. I had to teach them why it was important to have good water in their home, how it would help them save money, actually, in the long run, from having to replace water heaters, air conditioning units, the swamp coolers back then, plumbing fixtures, things like that. So it was an education moment. It was difficult, but I loved doing it.
And you found people that say, hey, that's interesting.
You know what? Thank God I did. I found people that said, you know what, that makes sense to me.
What were the first systems you sold? What were they?
Well, the first systems I sold were basically just dechlorinators. They would dechlorinate the water, assist in odors, and softening the water and stuff like that. And as I grew a little bigger and had a little more say in what I was selling, we started adding more filtration to it.
Because the systems weren't adequate enough for you?
No, not for me. Now, we still sell some of it. That's what the customer wants. But I think of myself as like, well, if I'm going to make an investment to take out some impurities, why not take out more things that are actually here? Like when I first got started, I read a lot of things, and I knew that, a lot of cities were charging taxpayers to add fluoride to the water. And in the water business, you know that fluoride's not really good for you to ingest. But people here were still thinking, no, I need the fluoride in the water. Well, I wanted to take the fluoride out. And good to brush your teeth or anything, but not to be ingesting. The good thing now is that education on a lot of that stuff has caught up, and people know that it's not good for you.
So Did you run into any situations that really surprised you? You get into a situation, people say, "Wow, I really need that," because did you run into some situations like that?
Oh yeah, I ran into that a lot. I think when I first got started, somebody told me that's what we're looking for. They told me what they were looking for, that they wanted to take out the fluoride. And I think my first big customers, we have the racetrack here nearby, and some people are raising racehorses. And they said, look, we want your filtration system, but we need something to take out the fluoride because it's not good for horses.
Really?
Yes. And I was all like, well, if we could just tell people it's not good for them either.
Wow.
So you feel good when you run into those kind of things. You're like, yes, exactly.
Wow. So you began to grow.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of obstacles did you face? Did you have funding issues? Did you have, how'd you grow?
You know what? I had always saved money. So when I first started, I had a good little nest egg, not a lot of money. And I used that, and I did get a loan, a small business loan that helped me out. It was funny because they told me, you probably need more. And I thought, no, I don't. This is all I need. Well, after the first year, I was like, you know what? I do need more, And it's funny how banks loan, sometimes they're really trying to loan you money. Other times, even if you're doing well, they're all shutting their doors on you. So those are obstacles on, I guess, any business.
So did you find a good relationship with the bank right away?
I did. I found a good relationship. I did have a good relationship, but their hands are also tied sometimes. There's people from out of town telling you to lend money or not lend money. And sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And when you don't, you just get stronger and you find a way to get it. Sell more product, work a little harder, I think. And I've always had that drive, if, one door shuts, a window opens,
So you didn't get discouraged when you were rejected?
No, I never get discouraged or anything. We make our own decisions. Some are good, some are bad. And even when they're bad, you just learn from them and you move on and you try to do better.
You make bad decisions?
Yeah, unfortunately I have. But, financial decisions, just business sometimes. But, that's going to be part of it,
Well, how do you learn to make good decisions?
Well, you see what works, You see if it works or not. And
but you try something and then you see?
Yeah, you try something. Sometimes you think it's a good decision. And then you learn from it. I think, at least in my opinion, and I've tried to help other people, entrepreneurs, I think one of the biggest things is when you start a business, you think you have to do a lot of advertising, and there's all these advertisers trying to hit you with things, and you learn which ones work and which ones don't. Some sound like, yeah, I do need to spend that money and do this advertising, and you learn like, well, that doesn't really work, and some do work.
You're advertising now on TV.
Yeah, we have a commercial. It's working pretty good. But I've made other advertisement mistakes that have cost me a lot of money. And unfortunately, that's just something that we have to go through.
So how do you learn to build a business?
You know what? To build a business, once again, trial and error, and save some money. That's the one thing, is that you have to have in your mind that if you're not growing, you're dying. So always be hungry to keep improving your business, improving yourself, helping your employees, and that's how you grow the business. I think that's one of the main things that I got into business, is I didn't like the way I was treated by other businesses. I didn't think they treated me fair, and I thought, well, you know what? Once I get a business, I'm going to have salespeople, I'm going to have employees, and the first thing is to take care of them and make sure they're happy, and your business will grow. And I'll tell you, for me, that's fulfilling. On payday, when I see people making money, it's fulfilling to me. The same thing is, if they're not making money, it puts a stress on you, but you want to help them to see what they can do.
So how was it to build a staff and build a team? Was that painful?
You know what? It is painful. It's painful because, once again, you live and learn on that. You hire people, and you try to help everybody out. I think the mistake you make sometimes is, sometimes you try to help people that don't want to be helped, and you have to learn to let those people go and focus on the people that do want to do good.
So you sense what people want and the way they are?
Yeah, sometimes you sense it and you could be wrong, but you have to see from their work ethic. You'll have those people that are hungry, they just want to do good, and they had a good month, and they're hungry to have the second month better. Then you have those ones that have a good month, and you hardly see them the next month because they're out spending the money, and then they're complaining when they get back. So you have to learn on what type of employees you want. So
would you classify yourself as a hunter?
Definitely a hunter. Yes.
Always out there.
Always out there.
To this day.
Yeah. I'm never satisfied. I'm always worried where the next meal's coming.
Really?
Yes.
Has your business reached a level where it's stable, but you still worry about tomorrow?
I don't know what you mean by stable. I mean, I'm comfortable. I'm paying the bills, but I always have that need like, I need, today's gone. What's going on tomorrow?
How was your dad when it came to that? Is he that way too?
I think he learned to be that way, yes. I think he learned that you keep on working. Don't know. I would say the difference between my dad and I is that I work hard so that I can have family time. And I think that's important. And I think my dad worked but forgot about the family time. And so what's it all worth if you're not going to have family time? So
you paid the price.
Yeah.
And you don't want your children to pay.
Exactly.
How many children do you have?
I have 4 children.
What do they all do?
So my oldest, Jacqueline, she lives in California right now. She's a house mom. She has 3 beautiful kids. Her husband's an engineer. She's a great mother, great motivator. My son, John Joseph, right now works in the medical field. And then I have another son, Nicholas, it's 19. He is currently going to school, but he's also working with me. He wants to get into the family business, which I love. And then I have my son, 15, Davian. He's still at Franklin High School.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
How many years have you been married?
I've been married 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had the business before you got married?
Yeah, we were dating. And she actually, when I got started, she helped me a lot. She saw the potential, and she was great at helping me get started and stuff like that. So I owe her a lot.
Because you weren't bringing home a paycheck.
Oh no, I was not bringing. It took a long time to bring home a paycheck. Let me tell you, there was difficult times. Even when we got married, it was tough and go. I'd have family members, I had friends that would, they're always telling you, hey, get back into the private sector. Owning a business probably is not for you. It's too tough. But I never gave up. I said, I told them all, I respect what you're telling me. I know you're not telling me any ill will. You're looking out for me. But I believe in the water business and I believe in myself.
So you have to really believe in yourself?
Yes, you definitely have to.
Did you have doubts about yourself?
Never.
Really?
You know what? I never did. I never have doubts. I never blame anybody. I don't know if look, the way I grew up, and I credit my mother for this. She passed away a couple of years ago. But since I was a young kid, there's something that she told me that stuck with me. I was probably a young kid saying, hey, wow, look at somebody's dad's doing this for them. They're giving them this, but they're still complaining. And one thing my mother always told me, she goes, look, I'm going to give you some advice here. Nobody in this world owes you anything. Your dad and I don't owe you anything. Don't ever think that way. Your government doesn't owe you anything. Never go around thinking anybody owes you anything. What you do and what you make, you earn for yourself. So never be a complainer, never be a victim. And that's the way I'm raising my family, and that's the way I think I've succeeded today, and that's the way I live my life.
Did you ever have sayings or dichos in your house like that really you say?
I think that's one of them. I say the same thing to anybody I can, because that saying, it's helped me. I think it's helped me through life.
Your father passed away recently.
He did.
But he built a good business. Did he finally have to retire?
You know what, my dad, he didn't know how to stop working. So I'd say he retired but he never really retired. He was always trying to keep busy.
Yeah.
Always building things. He was a builder, so he was always making things. He liked to talk to people. I do remember one time he was making some, he decided to build and weld and make some smokers, right? Probably took him a year. He made like 10 of them.
Wow.
And he had a business out in Montana, and he was so excited he was going to put them out front, get his Coors. He was going to talk to people, try to sell them. I had an office with him out there, and left early in the morning, about 7 in the morning. I came back about 7. He was really in a bad mood. He was one of those guys when he's in a bad mood. I'm like, Dad, what happened? You didn't sell any of the grills and any of the smokers? Why are you such a bad mood? He goes, no, I sold all of them. I sold them all like in 2 hours, but he was upset. The idea was not to make money and sell them. He wanted to be able to talk to people.
Oh.
He thought he was going to be out there a couple of months, and so now he's on, now what am I going to do? But now what project do I get into?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So some of that, I guess, energy and drive you inherited.
Oh, yeah. I'd say so.
Well, that's neat. And are you passing that on?
I hope I am.
Yeah. How do you pass that on,
I think maybe just from example, hopefully.
Yeah.
You try to give your kids advice when they come to you. You don't want to put your life onto theirs. Whatever they decide to do in life, I'll be supportive of it. I might have a foot to kick them in the butt here and there, but
Yeah.
I'll try.
So when you changed to your own, started selling water systems,
Mm-hmm.
and you had your own water system, your health changed?
Oh yeah, definitely. I never got kidney stones again.
Wow.
Oh yeah, never again. Of course, I get a little scared if I feel a little pain. I'll just grab some water. I start chugging down some water. Say, hey, I'm getting a little dehydrated. I need to drink more water. I don't drink sodas, except maybe a Jack and Coke here and there.
Mm-hmm. But pretty much water.
Yeah,
you're a water man.
I'm a water man.
And you've migrated to different systems.
I have. So the first company that I was selling for out of Illinois, I signed a contract with them, which I shouldn't have. I'll kind of give you an example of what happened is we would have phone calls every month, and there was other distributors in the nation, and I was always in the top 5 selling.
Really?
Yeah.
Right away?
Yeah, right away. And I slowed down a little bit only because we were having some warranty issues. And I called the Illinois office, and I'm like, hey, where's Mr. So-and-so's parts? This is under warranty. I'm having a hard time here, like that. And the owner of the company got on there and started yelling at me and saying, what's going on? How come you're out of the top 5? And I was like, well, respectively, this is a different conversation. I need to take care of the customers I already sold. This is a warranty issue. And honestly, my way of thinking is if you send me these warranty parts, I can be out there selling. And his was, I don't give a so-and-so of what you've already sold. Wow. I need you exactly what I was against.
Wow, interesting.
So I got out of that contract, and I still wanted to be in the water business. And I said, you know what? I love the water business. I'm going to do it different this time. I want to sell the best. I want to be the best.
Fantastic.
Maybe I won't sell, but I need to sell the best equipment.
So you want to be the best.
I want to be the best.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Today our guest, Mr. John Garcia of Clean Water of El Paso.
Clean Water of El Paso.
Clean Water of El
Yes.
Paso. Mr. Garcia, again, how many years you been in business now?
29 years this October.
Thanks for sharing your story with us, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks.
Been a fan of yours for a few years. And I guess I've seen your business grow then.
You have, yes. I remember you coming to the home shows. We always work the home shows. We're out there trying to get our name out there and our product out there.
So you sell water systems.
I do.
What do water systems do?
So water systems are water filtration systems, and what they do is try to take out the impurities that could be in the water. Some people might want like softeners that are going to take out the hard water, the calcium, magnesium, things that ruin your water heaters. People on their faucets see the white buildup on their shower heads and stuff like that. Hard to clean, glass mirrors, things like that. We help with that kind of stuff. Some people have irritations to certain impurities in there. They want to be able to make bottled water, for their kids, babies and stuff like that. Instead of running to the store and having to buy bottled water, we could put filtration in your home where you don't have to do that, that you can get it straight coming into your house.
So what does filtration do? It takes out the impurities.
Yeah, it takes out certain impurities.
How does it do that?
Well, there's different ways. There's certain medias that will take out certain impurities in there. Then we use reverse osmosis, which is one of the best filtrations out there. It will, it's a membrane that when the water goes into it, it will discharge the impurities and only allow the water to come up for your drinking water or for whatever you're using it for.
Because I know that there's those simple carbon filters that you can use on a faucet to take out something. What does that do?
Right. So a lot of people use carbon filters, and we use carbon also, but carbon is more when you put that in your refrigerator. It's really for taste and odors. It's not going to take out a lot of impurities. What it will take out is some of the chlorine, taste, and odors. Matter of fact, they're called CTOs, chlorine, taste, and odors.
Oh,
so if you see on there, it says CTO, and that's what they are. So it will help with some of that, but it's not really getting rid of some of the arsenic that's in our water or some of the other impurities that are in there.
But you run into people who need the systems because it's not good for their health. The water is not good for their health?
Yeah, we run into, any impurities, it's better not to have them when you're drinking your water, so it's good for anybody's health. But we'll get phone calls and stuff for people that have kidney issues, and their doctors will say, look, don't drink any of the tap water because of certain impurities and stuff like that. You need something a little bit finer, a little more filtered, and we can help them with, whatever the doctor recommends.
Do a lot of people have a similar condition like you did when you were young and you were getting kidney stones from the water?
You know what? There's actually a lot of people that have that, and what you'll see, what we help a lot too, is a lot of people have kids or even themselves that suffer from eczema, skin irritations and stuff like that. We find that when we put water filtration in there, most of them tell us that it's helped with their condition. So it helps on your skin also, and just all the way around.
I remember they used to use salt to take out some of the things in the water, but that wasn't good for some people to have too much salt in the water.
Right.
So
we have some systems that will use some salt. It'll discharge the salt when it's with them, and it'll do an ionic exchange. It's not putting salt in your water, but what it does is an ion exchange. It will replace a sodium ion with some of the hard water, but then we do other filtrations too that don't need any salt and can filter your water.
So your business grew. When you started just going door to door.
That's right.
And you found some reception.
Yeah, so I would say I found some reception, and every year it grew. I would say from there, it was more referrals, and it still is. People that put in the systems in their house would then call me. I have a friend, I have a sister, I have a brother. Do you mind going over to their home? And that's why we built our business. We don't do any door knocking now, but it's basically all on referrals. We do some commercials and a little other marketing, like home shows and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But most of our business is off of referrals.
And you also do commercial work.
We do commercial work. I'm proud to say we do a lot of the hotels here. We do softeners and other filtration for them. A lot of restaurants, coffee shops. If you're going to serve good coffee, you have to start with good water. So that's their motto, and we believe it too. So when you get a good cup of Joe, it starts off with good water.
Those are big systems, though.
Yeah.
Because they do the whole hotel, for example.
Right. That's right. The whole hotel. And the reason we do whole hotels is when you stay there, you're going to love the way the water filters. It's good for your skin. But let's face it, they're doing it to maintain their appliances and the pipes in their hotel.
So even appliances last longer if you...
That's right. Your appliances last longer in the hotels. They do laundry 24/7. They're going to use less detergents. Their sheets are going to last longer.
Really?
Sure. Yeah.
So as you're building your business, what kind of obstacles did you face?
Well, the obstacles I think I face are just, it's always money issues. It's the education of educating people in El Paso. When I first started, people weren't used to putting whole house systems in their homes. I would go do some training in Arizona, San Antonio, where they automatically would put them in their homes. But, their parents had a system, so they automatically knew it was good for their house. Here in El Paso, we didn't do that much. So I felt it was my job to start educating those people, and which it is, they see the benefit of having it in your house. Now, I already have customers where their kids are buying homes here in El Paso, and they're automatically like, hey, I just bought a home. I need to take care of it. when can you put a system in our house?
Wow.
So that's what's going on here.
So did you use services here to help you grow your business, like the Small Business Development Center, the Chambers of Commerce? Did any of these organizations provide any support for you or help?
You know what? I didn't really use those. I looked into them. I didn't see how it was going to help me. I knew it was going to be more on me just to get the word out.
So you're the chief salesman,
Yes,
and you still are.
I still am.
How did you become a leader of your business?
I try to lead from example. I lead example. I go out there. I'm up early. I'm there in the business. When everybody is out there trying to sell, or we have installers, obviously, also office people, I try to lead from example. I never get mad at them. I just seen as a learning. They're trying to learn, so I want to be there educating them on how to get better.
So how many on your team now?
Well, there's a total of 10 of us.
What are your challenges today?
You know what? The challenges are always, the water's always changing. There's more impurities in the water.
Really?
Oh, sure. You're going to see now on the news, a lot of cities don't have to test for certain impurities, and I've seen lately now they're going to start testing for those more. So there's always new technology, new filtration. My job is to see which ones really work, because there's always these alternative type filters. I don't know if they work or not. So my first thing is to order them, and I test them out for myself and see which ones work. Sometimes the old technology works better than the new technology, and I want to be educated myself, so I give my customers the right choice.
So when you started with one system.
That's right.
You bought in. Was it like a franchise, or you're just a distributor?
Well, I was a distributor, but it was also more. It's not a franchise because I didn't have to pay into it, but I did have to purchase so many products per year. So, and I had signed a contract that I was exclusively just selling their product. And
you were top in the country for that company, right?
Yeah, I was usually top, sure. I was always in the top 5.
Why? Because you're a good salesman?
I don't know if I can call it a good sale. Maybe a good salesman you can call it, because I sell. I don't feel like I'm a salesman. I feel like I'm an educator.
So you're really trying to get water clean in people's homes.
That's right. As a matter of fact, the first customers I sold to, that once I switched to better products, I called them up afterwards, most of them, and said, look, I have a better product, and I apologize for selling you this product, but let's get something better in your home. And
really?
So, sure. I took, that's another year I took a bath, on probably losing money.
What?
Because I was giving them credit for the stuff I had sold them before.
Really?
Sure.
You didn't like that system?
It didn't do enough. It did not do enough. And I was newer in the business, and I just trusted a distributor, a company, but I knew something was better out there.
Well, how'd you find a better system?
Well, so once I left that company, I started doing more research. And what I found out is all these companies that are selling say that they're manufacturers, when they're really not. There's only really a couple of manufacturers in the United States, some Chinese manufacturers I wanted to stay away from. I just wanted USA products. They're considered the best in the world. And I'm like, well, that's what I want to do, is the best in the world. So I contacted those companies, and to their credit, they didn't say, hey, well, you just can't call us and we're going to hire you and you can sell our product. They wanted me to get training, which I did, some education. And what they did is, I was still here in El Paso, but they wanted me to go to some of these other companies that they manufacture for, that call themselves manufacturer, and see what they wanted us to build for them. I was excited to do it. I thought they wanted to sell the best products out there too. But what I found out is they just more or less want to build a cheap system, get it out there to their distributors or their franchisees people, and it wasn't a good product. And I thought, you know what, this is not good for me either. And so I stayed exclusively just in El Paso from there, and said, look, I'm proud to say that I can go into a home and no one's going to offer a better product than what we're doing. And hopefully they trust us that once we put it in a system in their house, we don't forget about them. They're a customer for life, and we're going to make sure that they're taken care of.
So you actually can use different systems.
Sure. Sure, we offer more than one different system. I mean, I probably have over 200 different systems. Obviously, each hotel is a different size system. Every home, it depends on what type of filtration they want, what their budget is, but we're going to try to find the best fit for them. Someone that has city water here in El Paso is going to be different than somebody that lives in the lower or upper valley where they have well water, some other issues. So it's a different system.
So in growing the business right now at the level that you're at, there's a next step of growth for you?
You know what? There is a next step. Recently, I thought, you know what? I want to open more offices. We opened a Las Cruces office. We're in the process of opening a San Antonio office. It seems like people will refer us to family members or friends in San Antonio, and they'll ask us to come install over there. So we have, and I finally said, you know what? Let's just put an office over there. And so we're expanding. I'm excited about it.
So what's the challenge with that?
You know what the challenge is, not only for me, but I know a lot of business people now, is employees. Finding the right people with the right work ethic, the right principles to help you run, to build this thing. So we don't hire, I don't hire a lot of people because I have to trust them a lot. I mean, they're extensions of me when they go out there, so I have to trust that they're only stating facts to customers. Because when I first started in this business, like I said, at one time I had 16, 20 salespeople. Well, the truth that they go out there on the field and they're making promises that nobody can keep, maybe not being truthful about certain equipment. And I was like, that's a no-no. And so if I hire somebody, it's got to be someone that I really trust. It's going to be an extension of me almost. It's going to be truthful all the time.
Yeah, but for you to trust people, they have to trust you.
Sure.
How do you instill that?
You know what? Just through experience, through them seeing me. Most of the people that are working for me now were probably a friend or relative of somebody we sold equipment to and asked for a job, and we went from there. Either I hired them or I didn't hire them. I watched them for a long time, kind of like a hawk. If there was anything, even the slightest thing of untruthfulness, I didn't keep them.
Wow, that's important to you.
It very.
So your father had a construction business.
Yes.
You were telling me he built commercial facilities.
He did.
He just passed away recently. Did he leave a legacy in terms of kind of person he was?
Yeah, I think the legacy he left is, one, he was funny, but I just think his work ethic. He was always working. He saw the importance of it, stuff like that. My mom wasn't self-employed, but I'd say even more than my dad. Maybe just the lessons that she gave us, and I saw what a great mother she was to all of us, and how there's 7 of us. Not all of us are alive still, but she made sure we were all very close. We all took care of each other. We were always very honest. So I'm very proud to say she was my mother.
So what is your legacy?
Well, my legacy is going to be my kids.
So how are you making sure they follow that? How do you do that? Being honest and having integrity. How do you carry that through? This world is a crazy world out there.
It really is, but we don't have to follow that.
All right.
And I've always told my kids, just because the world's doing this, you don't have to do that.
Where does that come from?
And never be a victim.
Why?
I just don't like the way things are. Everybody wants to say, oh, this happened to me, that happened, this, I'll never get ahead because of this. The truth is, we're all blessed to be here in the United States. And I tell that to my kids, and the truth is, people are down on it saying you can't accomplish what you want. Well, you know what? You can. If you have the right work ethic and you're honest, and then there's people that make it that aren't honest, but we're not going to be one of those. You could still be an honest, hardworking person and make it in this country.
And so that's what Clean Water of El Paso is all about?
That's what Clean Water of El Paso is all about. And I believe in not only helping people with the water, I believe in only selling 100% if they're made here USA products, which are considered best in the world, because I believe in everybody working. You know, if we're not trying to buy American USA made products, we're just imploding. We really are. So that's why I do it.
Does that make some of your products more expensive than competition?
You know what? I'll tell you this, is that my products cost more to build. But here in El Paso, my products are being sold for less expensive than their Chinese parts.
Really?
Yes. I told myself I can make more money. I'll probably not be the richest man, but I'm going to be an honest man, and I'm going to be well taken care of. Let's put it that way. You know, I don't need to be very filthy rich by overselling something. What I've learned is people think that if it's a USA made product, you're going to be paying more. That's just not what I've seen is really the truth of the matter is. Yes, the seller's going to make more money, but the market dictates what things cost.
How do you communicate that to a customer?
You know what I try? I put it on our websites when we're telling them if it's important to you, these are all USA made products.
Are people interested in that?
You know what, they really are. A lot of them are. Early on my days, I would say, well, we do have a overseas Asian market one. That got me into trouble because those were the ones that always failed or busted, and I just said, enough of that. I don't even like selling them. I like going when I go to the factory and they're building these things and you see all the people that it's employing here in the United States, and I'm going to continue to do that.
So have you run into a wall? Have you had major issues that hit you for a while?
Well, there's always major issues. I mean, look at COVID. You know,
what happened to you through COVID?
You know, at first, I mean, what do you do if you can't go into people's homes? You know, people are scared for you to go in their homes to explain to them your product. So, you know, you're at home. Good thing I had a little bit of a savings. You know, try to enjoy the family. You know, when you get served lemons, you try to make lemonade. So you try to become a better husband and better dad. So you do that. I deal with a lot of the hotels and factories. You know, the hotels, first thing they were doing was, you know, seeing where they can cut things. We have contracts with a lot of the hotels that they're supposed to pay us every month. You know, I saw what they were going through. We're like, forget about those contracts.
Really?
Sure. Why am I going to do that to them? You know.
Wow.
And you know what? All of them brought us right back on. So you got to be a fair business person. Where
do you learn that?
I probably learned it from my mother. Going back, you know, sometimes I don't think about these things until someone asks, and I'd say my mother has a lot of those.
So
things.
those are deep inside.
Sure.
You.
Yeah.
The values you grew up with, really.
Yeah.
And you're passing those on to your kids.
I sure hope so. I try. I got to say, I have really great kids.
But you don't talk about having big issues, big challenges that you just address them and move on.
That's right. That's what they are. They're a challenge, and you move on from there. You figure them out, and you move on. That's why I own a company. You know, I understand it's not for everybody. You know, it's a bigger headache. Sometimes you don't sleep at night because you're thinking about your employees. Are they doing okay? You're thinking about the future of the company. But you know, that's me. What's
scary about what you're doing?
It's always scary because you think about COVID, you think about anything, you think about your employees. You want to just keep on striving.
So really, as you've grown your business, you've really become employee-centered?
I care about my employees and all that, but I would say I care about my customers the most.
So so the question is, in your business, who's most important?
Well, if you make your customers the most important, you're going to be taken care of. And you know what? I'd say most of our customers are great people. They become friends of ours, and they keep recommending us.
Wow. So you really like what you do.
I do. I love it.
But you liked it from the beginning.
Well, yeah, I did. I thought it was important to have good water. I wanted to be working for myself. It was tough, but I believed in myself, I guess I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. Does your wife work with you in your business?
You know what, she did at the beginning, but not anymore. We made a decision a long time ago when we were starting a family. If she didn't have to work, we were going to do that, even if we had to do without some things, because I wanted to make sure that if I wasn't home, she was there keeping an eye on the kids and raising them the way we wanted to.
You have your sister works with you.
Yes, Natalie.
She's been working with you.
Oh yeah, she's a great employee. She probably wouldn't say that she works. She's maybe 2 years older than me. If you asked her, she doesn't work for me. She's the boss, which she is, I guess. You know, she doesn't let me tell her what to do. But the truth of the matter is, she looks after the company and after me like nobody else would.
So she really does a lot of the management?
She does a lot of the management. Takes care of the appointments. She makes sure we're all where we're supposed to be at the right time.
So that's something that was hard for you to do?
You know what? As the company grew, I was doing it on my own, and I tried as hard as I could, but it was hard to juggle everything. I had been asking her to come work with me, and when she did, she now takes care of it, and it's been the best thing, honestly, because she talks to the customers. She makes sure we're where we're supposed to be at what time, and that we're punctual.
I know you're a member of BNI.
I am.
And how has that worked for you? You've been there, you say, a few years?
Yeah, I'm on my 4th year with BNI. It's a business networking company, the largest in the world. And it started off slow, but I would say, bang for the buck, it's the best advertising you can do.
So you're out there every week?
I am. We meet every Tuesday, some professionals, salespeople, business owners, and we try to pass referrals to each other. But I'd say more important is that you learn from each other. You learn from other business people, what works, what doesn't work, get some advice, give some advice. I try to help some of the younger people that are starting off in business. And sometimes you even learn from the younger people. Believe it or not, I listen. So it's been good.
So what would you say to a young person who's wanting to start a business?
I would say if someone's thinking about starting a business, make sure you have a map. You know exactly what you want to do. I would say before you jump into it, make sure you save up some money on whatever job you're doing. Be working, save up some money, budget yourself out for living expenses, because I know some people take off. People thought that I took off, even though we were selling. I was broke. Let's be honest about it. But I just kept striving on. But I would say have a little bit of a nest egg, and just be an honest business person.
How did you survive that period when you were broke?
You know what? You just survive. You just, you eat rice and beans. That's what you do. You eat rice and beans, and you hope that you have a good partner that believes in you and know one day it's going to be okay. And I'm not saying they're not going to question you, because my wife did question me, like, hey, are you sure we're going to be okay? And you would just say, believe in me. And thank God she did. We're still together. She questioned me a few times, but she believed in me.
Because you weren't bringing home a paycheck.
That's right, I wasn't. She got tired of rice and beans.
No, but you've been able, but you were out there banging on doors at first.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I still am. I'm maybe not literally banging on doors, but I'm still out there pushing it. People that are probably business owners in a lot of cases are never satisfied. There's more out there, and you want to keep pushing it, and maybe you want a legacy out there that it continues. And any of my kids that want to work with me, I welcome it, and I have one that's interested in it, so I'm pushing so that he sees what I do and he can learn from that and continue it.
So you're preparing to
yes
move that over.
That's right. Yeah.
But
he's digging ditches right now. He's starting from the bottom. My wife goes, why are you starting from there? And I go, well, if you have to dig a ditch to run a water line, he's got to learn from there. One day he might have to do it. When you're by yourself, you do A to Z.
Did you do that?
I did that. I would sell the system. I'd install the system. I'd dig holes. Whatever it took.
Wow. So Has this building of the business taken you to a place that you like?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What has it done for you?
You know what I would say? It's given me the opportunity. I'm a family man, foremost, and it's given me the opportunity to spend the kind of time I want with my kids. And I knew since I was in high school I was going to be a family man. I wanted to be a family man. I wanted to have a wife. I wanted to have the kids. I wanted to be a great father, and I want to continue that. And matter of fact, one of the reasons I keep pushing it is now I'm a grandfather. You know, my two oldest kids
Congrats.
have grandchildren, which I just adore. But I want them to know their grandfather. So I work hard. I do a savings. I tell my kids, hey, when I pass on, don't expect any money, because I'm going to spend whatever money I have going on vacations every single year. Grandpa is going to pay for the kids, and you guys, they're going to know their grandfather. So that keeps me going.
Fantastic.
So,
Great.
So that's how I want to be. I want them to know their grandfather.
So you built a business that's going to allow you to do what you want to do.
That's right.
Fantastic. Great story. Well, John Garcia, I really appreciate your story and the story of Clean Water of El Paso.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Appreciate you sharing the story, and I trust that our viewers enjoyed Mr. Garcia sharing his business story. Stay tuned and watch Hispanic Biz and learn these great entrepreneurial stories from these people in El Paso that have done wonderful work. Thank you for viewing, and have a great day. Hasta luego.